now open. Public hearing closed. Members of the dais, any discussion? Mr. Clerk?
May I have a
I'll second Councilwoman Sterrell's motion.
motion was made by Councilwoman Sterrill, seconded by Councilman Galvin. This is the resolution. Anyone who wishes to record a nay? Item passes 5-0. Tab G. Proposed ordinance, second reading, of the Mayor, City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 9 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Garbage and Trash to include provisions for regulation of littering, unsolicited advertising materials, and maintenance standards for dumpster enclosures, establishing standards for issuance of non-exclusive franchise permits, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date.
This is the second reading. Do we have any staff, any word from staff?
We have actually we have two staff members, Major Beige and Commander Blanchard from our code enforcement, who is handling our sanitation division.
In case we need second
But this is the second reading.
Second
though.
reading.
Second
Mayor
reading.
Joseph.
We've already had presentation from
That's
staff.
correct.
unless we
Okay.
have questions.
Mayor Joseph,
Hmm.
I'd like to make a motion to continue this for 2 weeks.
You mean this tab G?
This tab. I apologize. I don't feel that I am really up to speed with exactly what the changes are. I did not realize there are definitions in here. We've gotten a letter from one of our vendors regarding different types of recycling, organic recycling questions. I want to be sure what our commercial vendors can and cannot do, what they can continue to do. I did not realize, but we do have a contract with Waste Pro. As of May 1st, all commercial vendors are going to be required to go with the Waste Pro services. But I'd like a definition. At the last minute, I spoke to the attorney. Exactly what is that? Is that just waste? Can they do their own recycling? Are they required to do recycling? There's some definitions in here, and I'm just really would like to get a little more clarification. And I'd
I
like
believe Westport has already taken over because they've
they have in
few
the
weeks ago,
contracts. The
they've-
contracts are going, but there's other items besides the waste, recycling, et cetera, and some of the businesses have questions, and the vendors have questions as what they will still be allowed to do, what they're responsible to do. I'd like some more clarification and study of the ordinance. The rest of the ordinance is excellent. We really need it. More teeth in our littering and garbage. So I've made a commitment to our attorney that I will get up to speed and be ready in 2 weeks.
I'll second the motion to continue for 2 weeks.
Clerk?
Well, apparently, this is kind of so it's an ordinance, but it's a motion to continue. So I'm just going to do a roll call vote. The motion was to continue this item till next council meeting. The motion was made by Vice Mayor Keys, seconded by Councilman Galvin. And this is a vote to continue this item till next council meeting. Councilman Galvin, how
What
do
are
you
the
vote?
reasons again? The vice mayor did give the reasons for it.
Well, yeah, no, the
Continue.
reason is somewhat immaterial. I just wanted to know if I had to do a roll call vote, and I'm going to do it anyway because it's an ordinance.
Okay, go ahead.
So, Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys,
Yes.
Councilman Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Steril, and Mayor Joseph.
Yes.
So this item was continued till the next council meeting by a 5-0 vote.
All right. Tab H.
Tab H, proposed ordinance, second reading of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 4 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Animal Control by amending Section 4-3 entitled Definitions and by creating Section 4-18 entitled Restrictions on Retail, Pet Sales, and Pet Meals to include regulations restricting retail pet sales and pet meals, providing for repeal, conflicts, severability, codification, and an effective date. Tab
Good.
H.
Okay, now this is also a second reading. We already had staff presentation, and I believe the public had already spoken
No,
They don't, and we can just take a second vote. Let's just vote.
The
We,
second
we,
reading.
we, we voted 5-0 last time.
You need to open it.
Yes.
I think you still need to open it to the floor.
They're all gonna go with us.
All right, so,
Then-
Can we say,
Mayor, apparently according
Public
to,
hearing open, public hearing closed. Any discussion from the dais? Mr. Clerk?
Can we genuinely open public hearing just so that nobody calls into question that we?
They agree with us. They already love us. They know we're gonna vote for it.
We'll
Yeah,
spend more
just do
time
it.
arguing with it.
Public hearing,
move for approval? I make the motion,
yeah.
and still second the motion.
Is public hearing now open, Mr. Mayor?
Mr. Mayor, can you please just open public hearing? Thank you.
Does anyone want to be heard? Public hearing is now closed.
I have a motion by Councilman Bieneme. May I have a second?
Second by still.
Motion was made by Councilman Bieneme, was seconded by Councilwoman Sterrell, and this is a motion to approve tab H as advertised. Mayor Joseph,
Yes?
I'm sorry, Councilman Galvin,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys,
Yes.
Councilman Bieneme,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sterrell.
She said yes already.
Tab H is approved 5-0. Tab I, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of North Miami, Florida, amending chapter 15 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Personnel, Pension, and Retirement by amending Article Roman numeral 4 entitled Clarity Singleman Employees Retirement System to comply with the Internal Revenue Code by amending section 15-85.1 Military Service Credit, Contributions for Military Service, section 15-93 Death Benefits, and section 15-98 Direct Transfers of Eligible Rollover Distributions, providing for severability, codification, and an effective date.
Public hearing is now open. Anyone who wishes to be heard, please do it now. What will it cost the city? Can you come to the mic, please? State your name and your address.
Stuart Kornblum, Maple Road. Can you tell us what this ordinance will cost the city?
Actually, there's no net effect, there's no cost to the city. We had our actuary who controls our pension, both pension programs, which is the 748 program and the police fund, and there's no zero effect on the city's behalf.
Thanks.
Public hearing is now closed. Members of the dais,
Mr. Mayor, through you to the manager, why are we getting these two add-ons tonight? What's the purpose, and can you explain
Sure.
for us in layman's terms briefly
Sure.
what this one does, and then when we get to it, what the next one does?
Sure. Actually, the boat is, there's two items for the two pension programs that the city administers at present. One being the police pension and the other the general employees pension program. IRS actually did a sampling of our employees, our retirees. And based on the sampling that IRS did, they made recommendation for compliance with IRS rules, and the rules are outlined in the ordinance. And those rules that we are non-compliant with, this ordinance actually corrects those rules, so the both programs would be compliant with IRS rules.
So when you say the IRS is making these requests, is this related to the ongoing IRS audit of the city?
No, this is a separate issue.
Okay, so they're not giving us the opportunity to duck out of potential penalties by
No.
passing this tonight. This is absolutely, totally and separate from anything the IRS may or may not be auditing
That's
at
correct.
this given time.
I'll just read the first sentence from the both letters for the both programs from IRS, and it states, "We have made a favorable determination on the plans identified above," which is the both plans we are talking about. They have done, an audit on the plan based on the retirees. They pulled a sampling of the retirees, and this was done. And both plans came back favorable, sorry. Copies of these letters could be sent out to you guys if requested.
And why was it added as an emergency add-on? What was the emergency?
The deadline, since we have 2 readings for the ordinance, the deadline for implementation for compliance would be the end of April. So the second reading would be the second meeting in April. And one of the reasons we're in Tallahassee when I got the call from our pension administrator, and that's why these 2 items are add-ons on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No other questions.
All right. Mr. Clerk,
May I have a motion to approve tab I?
so move.
Second?
Motion was made by Mayor Joseph, seconded by Councilman Galvin. Councilwoman Sterrill? Mayor Joseph?
Yea.
Councilman Galvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys?
Yes.
And Councilman Bieneme?
Yes.
Item passes 5-0. Tab J. An ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of North Miami, Florida, amending Chapter 15 of the Code of Ordinances entitled Personnel, Pension, and Retirement by amending Article 5 entitled North Miami Police Pension Plan to comply with the Internal Revenue Code by amending Section 15-101, Definitions, Section 15-103, Miscellaneous Provisions, Section 15-132, Death Benefits, and Section 15-137, Direct Transfers of Eligible Rollover Distributions, providing for severability, codification, and an effective date.
Move approval.
Second.
Pending public hearing.
Public hearing.
Public hearing is now open. Public hearing is closed.
Motion was made by Councilman Galvin, seconded by Councilwoman Keys. Councilman Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sterrill, how do you vote? Yes. Mayor Joseph?
Yea.
Councilman Galvin?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Keys.
Yes.
Item J passes 5-0. And before we go on to the Citizens Forum, we do have a vote I have to take here regarding Councilman Galvin's appointment to the Planning Commission. Councilman Galvin would like to appoint Jason L. James as a reappointment to the Planning Commission. May I have a motion to approve Councilman Galvin's appointment?
So moved.
Second.
Councilwoman Keys made a motion. It was seconded by Councilman Galvin. Anyone who wishes to record a nay? Item passes 5-0.
Thank you, Councilman.
You got it. Really think Stephanie, right?
Thanks, Steph.
All right. Well said, Mayor.
You're sweet tonight. Is it because you just win an election? Am I cool?
Probably.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
Citizens Forum is now open. Citizens Forum is now.
Judy Brown, 1100 Northwest 128 Terrace. Once again, I'm coming to ask the city manager, for some reason, I guess you forgot. At the last council meeting, you stated that you would come back with the funding for the walk track at Pepper. So I'm coming back again because our councilwoman Sterrill had given you this direction when the first budget, during the first budget allocation, during that time, $700,000 was allocated for capital improvement, and I remember that she sort of asked you that in some way to try to work this in. I know at the last council meeting you said that it was about $60,000 to $65,000 that was needed for that project. And also, the mayor had said something about that as well, because I've been here for so long and I'm not going away. So I'm back again.
So let's do it.
They,
Very good.
you want me to answer?
It's done.
Yeah.
Give the final word.
Funding is already allocated. A contractor, our Parks Department manager, we identified a contractor. Is just giving him a start date to begin the job. It's going to cost about $65,000. The money is already allocated from the $700,000 capital improvement fund. It will be done.
Citizens Forum is still open?
Good
That's
evening.
mine. You're not gonna give it to Michael.
You can have it, so long as you plant it. Good evening. My name is
course.
Howard Tonkin. I live at 12600 Griffin Boulevard. That's where my home is, my house. I brought you all another tree. This is a bold cypress. This tree at maturity can absorb 800 gallons of stormwater per day, and in one growing season will provide enough oxygen for 10 people for a year. 100,000 of these trees, if planted in North Miami, could absorb 80 million gallons of stormwater per day. This is one of the plants that will be key to our dealing with climate change and moving forward in a positive way in the future. So much, and here you go. Aline, see you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get Aline, Katsa, can you take this? Thank you. Put it in my.
Good evening again. William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. 3 points, kind of quick. I'd like to acknowledge Mr. Howard Tonkin again for keeping us abreast of these concerns. I think he's very well informed. He's offering this free advice. I know how hard it is for the city to have people who have professional backgrounds to actually accept their advice without paying loads of consulting fees. But here it is. He's providing really great advice that we can implement throughout the city. It'd be nice for us to do this, and he's helping us every step along the way, and I think he would continue to do that to our benefit. The second concern is addressing the Planning Commission. You all have received an email from me expressing a concern that we have a very well-established Planning Commission in place, and we know that there was an alternate and we know there was a full-time and 2 alternate positions available, and we know that those need to be fulfilled. Just wanted to bring to your attention that the current members on the board have been working together quite well, are really very experienced, very thoughtful, have proven themselves over a number of years, and at the earliest opportunity, it would be very nice to reinstate Gene Castor and Kevin Seifried, who is current chairperson, who has chaired the committee for 25 years now. And we are coming upon this crucial stage of the comprehensive plan. It's good to have people who have that experience, that insight, that wherewithal to be judging that process, to be helping to forward that process to our benefit. And the third concern is, I still haven't had a chance to address the parking, the structured parking that's going up next to Deals, or is intended for Deals, that never came before the Planning Commission. And this goes to our concern that there's this fracturing of the city and we're not all on the same page. And there are concerns that should have been brought to the Planning Commission to evaluate if we're having structured parking, should it be there? Are there alternatives? What are the pros and cons before we start to break ground and make larger commitments? It really would be nice to have that, because I think there are some observations that would come up that would start to put into question that location and other maybe more rewarding locations that would have a much bigger bang for the buck and suit the city much better. So thank you for considering that, and I'd like it to be passed. I'd like that project to be slowed down and passed through the Planning Commission. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, may I ask? I think Mr. Prevotel might be confused. The construction you're seeing immediately next to Deals.
Not that one. I know the structured parking that is already in the works.
It's gonna
Oh,
make
okay.
this one here.
I apologize. I withdraw any questions.
Do we have just a question, do you have a parking garage in construction?
No, he says ready.
It's a private sporting goods structure that you.
That's right. It's Simpson Sporting Goods that is being constructed in front of the Deals right at present. The
But-
parking structure is not approved yet. We are still doing the analysis. This is why you didn't have a CRA meeting today.
Okay.
There wasn't any action items on the CRA, and when our consultant RMA comes back, that is going to be part of the analysis that is being conducted
I
right
think
now.
that's a plan that we need to change, because I don't think the city should spend $7 million on the parking garage, and in front of it you're gonna have a Payless store, just for a Payless store.
Yeah.
And you guys said we were gonna have a nice restaurant and a Nike and suddenly all we see is like cut the parking garage to put a Payless store, and I don't think it's a good idea for our downtown. That's mean a parking garage and plan. I think we need to put that to rest until we see some real movement in the downtown.
And just for clarification, that's the lot that we're talking about is the lot where most of us are parking this evening, which is directly east of City Hall and Mocha, not where this new construction is taking place. It's the large vacant lot, large parking space. And it really would be nice to have that, be very directed to the Plan Commission so that there could be a public forum to discuss the various options, either to affirm or to relocate such endeavor.
It's supposed to be just public hearing.
Okay.
Just let them speak.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, hi, Diane Sharible, 13390 Northeast 4th Court. We have great police officers in the city of North Miami. We just do not have enough police officers in the city of North Miami. Within the last maybe month and a half, my friend Mac, who lives, I believe, right off 131st between 3rd Court, he had gotten broken into twice. Today alone, his neighbor, Robin, just got broken into today. Saturday night, my car got broken into, 2 in the morning. I have video cameras, so I saw it happen. We have no police patrol. No one drives up and down my street. No one, we don't have enough police. I think our biggest issue in District 3, from my words, is we have so many robberies. I mean, I don't know the figures, but it's crazy. I mean, every day someone's getting robbed. We need more police. So thank you.
Not only, oh, sorry, we cannot talk. That's public forum.
Public forum is still open.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Pleasure to be here. Kevin Burns, 2065 Alamanda Drive. Just a few items I want to touch upon very quickly is Councilwoman Keys, I'm glad that you postponed the second reading of the garbage ordinance and all that and take a chance and look at it. Because over the last several days, I've gotten numerous calls from business owners that just now realize that they no longer get to pick as a business person who they're going to have as a vendor, who through the free market can pick and choose to compete to pick up their waste service, their recycling, whatever the means may be. They make large investments in this community, and they're trying to make a living, and they're trying to run their business the most efficient way that they can, yet they're now being told by the city through the contract that they must use Waste Pro. I always have spoken in the past that if the city wanted to privatize the residential collection, we have the right, and it was probably a smart move at the time, but I don't think we really should be telling businesses in this competitive atmosphere that they can only use one when there's plenty of private firms out there that are much more aggressive than when you're the sole source. The other item is that we're trying to clean up the city. And I pay for bulk pickup like all the residents do. And if I don't put bulk out every week, but all of a sudden, once a year, I put out a little bit bigger garbage pile than I normally do because you do spring cleaning and trim down some trees and you put it out front, you won't pick it up. You come by with orange spray paint, it's too big because it's 3 yards bigger than what we typically pick up. Well, guess what? You haven't been picking up bulk pickup at every single house every single week, yet you're charging us every single house every single week. So what do? They mark it with the orange paint, they don't pick it out, and you leave garbage piles out in the community for 2-3 weeks. It makes no sense. Pick the garbage up, and if you think you need to bill the people later on, do that, but pick the garbage up. But I think it's unfair to the residents who pay for a service that they do not use every week, that the one time they overextend according to your plans, we get double billed or not even the garbage picked up. That is not the way to operate the city. And one other item, I believe, Mr. Mayor, I'm glad that you have a discretionary budget. I believe that each council person is elected and they know their district. I don't think that the mayor should have had to give Mr. Galvin money out of his pot, because I think each council person at the beginning of the year should be allocated a certain number of dollars that they want to apply to certain projects or to enhance certain projects. Over the last 2 years, this council has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, actually last 3 years, hundreds of thousands of dollars on studies, sidewalk studies, road servicing studies, tree studies, lighting studies. You got lights of studies. And if you're going to have the professional staff, you know what sidewalks need to be done. You know what lighting needs to be done. You know where the 3,400 trees that need to be replaced would need to be replaced. That should be in a program that is systematically done every year and budgeted that way. And then your money that's allocated to you and your discretion should not have to go to finish some sidewalks or to finish some other things, because the city has already taken care of that. Those ought to be to the projects that each individual council person and the mayor feel that they believe is a priority for their district that might be unique to their district. And if you want to enhance or add more money to the, thank you, Mr. Mayor, for allowing me a few extra moments, enhance a particular program, great.
I did it.
And that's why you're represented, elected by the representatives. But I think that you have to take money out of your allocation to do sidewalks and trees and infrastructure is silly. That should be part of the citywide program, because the management knows where sidewalks should be. We should be out buying a whole bunch of those houses that are abandoned and burnt out. Buy those houses, fix them up and sell them, put families in there. Dump your money in the market right now, in the real estate market, because you can still buy a bunch of houses. The city's had a great track record rehabbing houses. Let's continue that, but you run out of the Fed's money, so let's use some of our money. Mr. Mayor, thank you for allowing me to go over my time and just some of the suggestions I had. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council persons. I live on 124th Street and 12th Court, and I'm here to share with all of you and my fellow neighbors what concerns me about a laundry that we know we're having problems with the noise and the chemicals, and I want to share with them and with you the article that came in the New Herald in Spanish. Okay, this is affecting us day and night with noise that doesn't let us sleep. Affects the condominium next to them, and affects my husband, myself, and children that live around here with the chemicals and the noise day and night. And I want to urge you to please go forward and do it expediently with tickets enforcing the zoning they are violating. Because these people use loudspeakers day and night, 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. It is just outrageous. And it is affecting our health. So I want to urge you to please expedite this. And we have neighbors complaining about a year ago or over a year ago about this, and I want to share with you my sentiments and urge you to please, whatever you can do to make this go forward, and also apply the tickets, because they violate the laws on a daily basis, to apply it to them. And that's mainly what I want to talk to you about. Thank you for the time.
Mr. Mayor, the young lady did not state her name for the, that's okay. She got 124th and 12th, but.
Thank you. My name is Alina Medina. Thank you.
An address?
She said it.
Yeah, 124.
I live on, yes, 12th Court and 124th Street,
The house number?
1270.
Date of birth?
Thank you.
Public Citizens Forum is still open?
Robert Houston, 1150 Northeast 123rd Street. You know something, I just want to say thank you. I think the city is moving in a good direction. I've been living here. I bought a house here 3 years ago, and the direction the city's moving to is positive. And sometimes you hear a lot of complaints, but very little time you hear the compliments. My area is improving. It's taken a lot of effort. It's taken a lot of attention from our councilwoman, Carol. and some attention. But to the city, I want to say thank you. I know there are some other issues, legal issues and stuff that you have to deal with residents and everything, but our area is making progress, and it's with the help of the city and the cooperation of the city and the cooperation of the residents. So keep up the good work. That's all I'm going to say tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens Forum still open? I guess Citizens Forum is now closed. We'll proceed with our reports. The first announcement I want to make is a sad news of the passing of the mother of the chairman, Moniz Team, chairman of the Miami-Dade County Commission. She passed away yesterday, I believe, and my condolences to them and their family. And the second point, I just want to pretty much make you aware of the different, projects, public works, projects that are going on. I believe they're too numerous to really count. But it's, if I added the amount, it would total about over $350,000 worth of your tax dollars that are going toward different projects that are ongoing in the city. And to that, I would add the point of, I would answer to some of the questions or comments that in the Citizens Forum that were made. I want to mention that we as a council, or we as a government, we want to really take this city to new heights, to where we can compete both national and internationally. So when somebody are looking to for a place to spend some time or come and do some vacation, so they can put North Miami out there on the list of places where they can visit. And I think most of the council members, or all of the council members, do share my vision of seeing this city as to really represent a good art and culture area. And that's why you see a lot of projects are going on, and especially in District Street 4, 3, and as well as District 2. And my manager and we've sat down many times, and we have also conferred with the director of MOCA, and to see how we can come up with an actual, I don't know if we have to do a resolution for that. I don't believe so, but if we have to, then we might have to just do that, where we make North Miami become an art, an art and culture, city. And because of that, when you heading west on 135th, where it bifurcates into Opelika Boulevard and 135th, at that intersection there is a triangle where I am going to propose in weeks to come to the council to please approve an artistic kind of a sculpture there. And the talk about making projects for streetscapes and landscape repair and those kind of things, they are very important because of the downtown redevelopment project that we passed a few months ago. And upon talking to some investors, people who may be interested, developers and so forth, one of the important things that they do mention, when they drive through 125th and they go into West Dixie Highway heading north, or 7th Avenue going north or south, they like to, actually they do their homework before they actually come. They look at the demographics, the level of education, the salary, average salary of the people who live in the area before they make a decision whether they're gonna come and put a 5-star restaurant and any other places where people can frequent. And it behooves us as a council really to come up with a vision, because if they come and they only see blights throughout the city, I don't think any developers are going to be interested in coming here. So that's why a few weeks ago I sat down with the manager and we identified funds where actually it was an advice that was given to me by an investor to really start fixing some of the streets. And so on 124th, there, starting what, 8th Avenue? From 8 going all the way to 10, there is already money allocated where that street is going to be repaired, and there's going to be some stamped concrete that's going to be done on either side of it, and with some nice landscaping. So it's very interesting for us to really put the city at a level to invite people to actually come in. And it's very important for us to do that, and that's the reason why I did ask the manager if he could identify funds for me to implement some projects, city-wide projects. All districts are going to benefit from these projects. And the other thing I want to mention are the summer jobs that I really applaud the Department of Parks and Recs. I believe they have about, what, 50 positions, so Derek?
About 20 to 25.
Okay. All in an effort to really help, the kids, mainly high school kids who are graduating, going to college, they have summer jobs. They work for a few weeks or maybe 2 or 3 months, I don't know, so they can have, pocket money to go to college. And I think that's a very good endeavor. It's a very good project, on the part of the city. And one of the field trip that I'm going to have during the summer, because I had the opportunity a couple of weeks ago to go to the tunnel, along with the manager and the director of, I like to say director. Is it director or manager?
Manager.
Okay. Manager of CP&D. And it was such a grand visit. They gave us such a big acclamation when we got there, and it was offered to me by the CEO if we could bring a group of students, especially students who are interested in engineering, any kind of engineering, computer, IT. He asked me to bring maybe about 20, 25 students to come and visit the new tunnel that was inaugurated late last year. So we are in the process of recruiting some students. Mothers or fathers who may be here, please take note. You can call the office of the Mayor and Council at 305-895-9818 and register your child to go to a field trip to visit the Miami Tunnel. Thank you very much. I think I spoke too much, but it's too late now.
Mr. Who's next? Me? For my report. Mr. Alim, and you receive a letter from Waste Management.
That's
And
correct.
can you give me an explanation about it and exactly what it is?
What the letter is actually saying is that based on the contract we have with WastePro, which started 3 years ago, under Florida statutes, a letter had to go out to all the providers of sanitation service, to all the businesses within the city, stating that we do have a sole source franchise provider, which is WastePro, and they will be taking over all the commercial properties in the city. That letter went out when the contract was entered to with WastePro. The date or the deadline date for all those all those contractors providing services, sanitation services, the effective date of termination of all contracts would be May 1st, 2015.
That's mean, if I understand, from May 1st, 2015, Westport gonna take over the commercial and part of the sanitation, right?
That's correct. Statutorily, yes. We gave them 3 years notice,
Okay.
and the 3-year notice will end
Based on that
based on
piggyback contract.
That's correct.
Okay, and from what I understand, and I have several businessmen approaching me, and is it gonna be at the same cost?
We have approximately 600 businesses in North Miami. I believe there's going to be about roughly 100 businesses that are going to be affected with costs. When I say affected, most of the costs, I've spoken to Waste Pro representatives recently. We have at least 500 businesses that are going to be at the same rate or lower. They're going to be paying a lower rate. There's going to be about approximately a little more or less 100 businesses that might have an increase in cost or increase in sanitation services.
How many, what is the percentage of increase?
It all depends on the size and the number of pickups you have per week. We have the 1 yard containers. I could give you a complete report on it.
I'm talking about like a base price, and some people said the bill gonna be increased by 100, 200%.
That I cannot verify. I will have to look, to get. Yeah, I will have to find out the actual business and get an actual cost from that business.
On the next agenda, and I'm propose that on the next agenda we go over that contract and see the commercial part and give me an explanation about
Sure.
where in the contract saying that they're gonna take over, and what guarantee that we have the price not gonna be increased by 200-300%.
Okay.
And I want also the city attorney to give us a legal opinion on the contract and about that taking over of the commercial part.
Okay.
When you say a legal opinion.
Let's see, do we have option not to let Westport take over the commercial part?
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Let's
you.
conclude my report, Mr. Mayor.
Also, I want to make a correction. The capital improvement projects, the subtotal is about $900,000 instead of $350,000. Next report. Go ahead.
Mr. Manager, I know that we have spoke regarding Pepper Park.
Yes.
And I'm glad that Ms. Brown's still here, and your park director also mentioned to me that, not actually mentioned to me, we had a meeting
Yes.
regarding Oleander Park, that where we were supposed to have, your capital improvement was supposed to have a
Splash pad.
park at Oleander, but you, nothing in this, but I was advised by both of you, it would be better to do it at Pepper Park because we have the land and everything that you guys explained to me. So I agree, but I was expecting that you guys bring the updates before council. But I have not heard anything about it yet.
Yeah, the parks manager did bring me the pricing for installation of the splash pad. The pricing actually went to procurement or the purchasing department. We're evaluating it. As soon as we get the approval from the purchasing manager, we can move forward. The money is already allocated for the splash pad.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Next. Mr. Galvin?
Oh, thank you. I continue to hear a bunch of rumors about the White House Inn on Northeast 123rd Street, just before the Bay Harbor Bridge. So I want to ask a series of questions tonight on the record to try to get some clarification. I sent this email mid-afternoon today. I don't know if you had a chance to see it. Tanya says yours out today. Regine, maybe you saw it. I telegraphed every question I'm about to ask. So I'm going to read specific questions that I asked or had prepared tonight about the White House Inn.
Okay.
Currently, as the White House Inn exists, what is it zoned for?
You have that with you?
So I did receive the email, but I didn't have a chance to really delve into it.
Tanya?
I believe
I thought
perhaps
Tanya was
I
out
bel-
'cause I got an
think it's-
away message,
I
so.
think it's residential,
See, you
No,
think.
Tanya is
but
here.
I'm not. I did not have an opportunity to research that.
I'm actually
Tanya,
here.
I apologize because I got an away message. I assumed you were out.
I
so.
understand.
Sorry, through the
Understand,
mayor.
Not a problem.
Can I recognize?
For the record, Tanya Wilson Sujor, I'm the planning manager with Community Planning and Development. To respond to your first question, it's zoned R4, and that's a low, medium density residential category. So it's 12 dwelling units per acre.
If we wanted to change that zoning at that site, if we wanted to make it something other than R4, let's say commercial,
Mhm.
could we do that?
You could. You could do a rezoning on the site to a commercial category.
Previously, you've told me that that would be spot zoning, though. How is that not spot
No,
zoning if you wanted to
you
change
couldn't change it to like a mixed-use category is what I've explained to you in the email. The request that was made before us by a developer, his inquiry was could he put a mixed-use project on the site?
I don't want to get into
so
that
I'm just gonna
theoretical mixed.
I'm going to explain.
Yeah, yeah.
So in terms of my response to you, it's not possible because the site itself is only 1 acre. The mixed use would require 2 acres. So of course that's prohibited. It's not allowed. In terms of another category, as you're asking right now, the commercial change would be a map amendment that would come before the Planning Commission and then finally to the council for
So
that
if
request.
the city council wanted to change the zoning of that site from R4 low medium residential to commercial, flat out commercial,
Straight commercial, it could.
that is allowed.
Yes, you would need a supermajority vote for that. 4 or 5 of you would have to agree that it's something that you'd want to do for the map amendment.
Have any applications for any use at that site been submitted to the city as of tonight?
No, we have no applications that have been filed with my office. We have inquiries, we've had inquiries, but we've had no applications submitted to my office.
Okay. If an application were to be submitted, what are the procedures it would have to go through as far as public hearings, planning commission, city council votes?
Okay, so if the application was a map amendment request, it would have to come before Planning Commission. The Planning Commission is advisory, of course, so they would give their recommendation, and then it would come over to City Council for final consideration.
So if we wanted to change this from R4 residential to commercial, flat out commercial, it would first go to your office.
Correct.
How long would it take to clear your office and go before the planning commission?
I would say on average like 2 weeks, so it would have to be noticed. It would have to be publicly noticed, and then it would appear before Planning Commission and then before Council. So altogether between submittal and then final consideration, I would say on average like 3 months.
3 months. Okay. During that 3-month period, how many public hearings would it have?
Well, it's a map amendment, so it would have 1 before Planning Commission and then 2, it's an ordinance, before Council. So altogether 3.
Okay. If a storm were to blow through the area tomorrow, knock on wood, and blow away the White House Inn as it exists now, what could be rebuilt there in its place?
Well, the White House Inn currently, as I mentioned, is zoned R4. So technically it's a residential designation. The property, as you know, the built environment, a hotel, is commercial in nature, so it's considered non-conforming. So hypothetically, if a hurricane did come through and knock the building over, they could rebuild to the existing intensity. No higher, no bigger, no more intense than the hotel that they currently have.
You mentioned supermajority. If we wanted to change this from R4 residential to commercial use, would that require a supermajority?
Yes, it would, because
And
it's a map amendment.
And a supermajority means 4/5 of this city council.
Correct.
Or any
4
city
of 5 of the individuals sitting here would have to concur.
Okay. And if we wanted to do any type of zoning change from what it is now to any other use, would it still require that same supermajority?
Correct. A map amendment always requires a supermajority, and it's driven by your comprehensive plan. You recall back in 2007, that provision was included in the comprehensive plan to restrict map amendments to have 4 of 5 of the individuals sitting there to concur in order for that to take place.
So since it is zoned R4 low and medium density residential, if somebody wanted to come in and put condos there, I'm just saying theoretically condos there, just straight up residential condos, no commercial use, whatever, just residential condos, what requirements would they be stuck with? How
Well-
high could they go? What would the setbacks be?
Well, I'll say because we're speaking about a literal site, and I mentioned before that it's 12 dwelling units per acre. Technically, you wouldn't have a condo development with just 12 dwelling units. So I would imagine they would go for rezoning to a higher category, maybe say an R6 that would give them up to 25 dwelling units per acre. So that again would be a map amendment. You would have to approve it here with 4 or 5 of you agreeing we want to rezone it to a higher density. So as high as you can get would be, say, 25 dwelling units per acre. If you really maximized and then pursued some types of density bonus, the most you could ever get on that site is 50 units tops.
But as of right now, if somebody didn't
just go straight in,
what
just
they could do-
12 units.
12 units per
Yeah,
acre.
correct.
So they would
Flat,
have to
and
go
it's 1 acre literally, so it's 12 units is all you can build on the site today.
And if they wanted to get 14 units, 50 units, which is the max, anything
You'd
in
need to
between,
rezone it.
it would need rezoning, and that rezoning would take a supermajority 4/5 vote of
Correct,
this council.
because it's a map amendment.
Okay,
Even
and-
though you're going from residential to residential, it's still a map amendment.
Okay, thank you very much for the clarification. It's just that I continue to get almost daily
Correct,
rumor-based inquiries about this site. Anybody who's listening tonight, there is 0 application for change of use on that site that has been submitted nor is being considered.
And I appreciate that because I too have gotten quite a few rumor mill emails, so I'm happy that you're clarifying it on the record that there's in fact no application whatsoever, and I hope that helps to clarify and squash the rumor mill.
All right.
Thank you. Thank
No
you. Mr. Mayor.
problem.
Thank you. Ms. Vice Mayor?
Tough one to follow. One, I'd like to commend our police department for a tremendous job they did this morning. They had quite a bit of commotion this morning. We did have a shooter in a stolen police car come through North Miami, shoot innocent bystanders, and it was one of our North Miami police officers that did take this man down who had a high-powered rifle, shot him, did not kill him, but put him into custody and took care of it. We had at least 12 police officers at one location on 123rd and about another dozen in the San Souci area, and you all were just really professional, took care of it, and I'm really proud of you. So, thank you. Great job.
Mr. Clerk?
Wait, I'm not done.
Oh,
That was just my commendation.
oh, that's your comment, okay.
I just will briefly want to say that most of the council and the manager went to Day Days Tallahassee this year. It was a tremendous opportunity to network with other officials from the other municipalities, our county commissioners, state representatives, and senators. The manager was very courteous and took us all around to our various appointments. I was able to go to the Department of Environmental Protection, and we were able to discuss Biscayne Landing. They're very pleased with the progress that is being made. We filled them in on the new status of a purchase of 50 acres. We do have to amend permits and do some work, so they were very happy to learn about that. We went over very intensive discussions on the mangroves, identifying and making sure that they do remain untouched, including the 135th Street, keeping that closed. So that was, we voiced our concerns there. One of the other reasons I was there was we are going to try to get the 124th Street Canal dredged. They're going to help us identify the ownership, whether we need this, and then help us find the funds to take care of and clean out the only city-owned canal in North Miami. And and I had something else. What else did we discuss there? Mr. Ghani, you might want to go in a little more detail about the Biscayne Landing discussion.
Okay,
24th
thank
Street.
you. Mr. Clerk?
Okay, that's it.
Okay, brief announcements. We have elections coming up May 12, 2015. I'm going to explain some important dates here. If you have been a voter as of Monday, April 13th, 2015, you are eligible to vote in our upcoming election. Early voting dates are between Monday, April 27th, 2015 through Sunday, May 10th, 2015 at the North Miami Public Library located at 835 Northeast 132nd Street. And the times are on our website, but the times are staggered like last year, like last voting cycle. The first week, Monday through Saturday, it'll be from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The second week, voting will begin 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. through Monday through Friday. And again, on that Saturday, May 9th, it'll be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and May 10th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now I want to acknowledge the supervisor of election, the former Stephanie. she did a remarkable job. She really, really took her job seriously. This was her first election supervising. And just real brief, Mayor, the second she found out that she was supervising this election, she ordered me, she walks into my office and orders me to remove my picture from in front of the clerk's office. And I asked her why. She said, well, she didn't want anybody coming in to be intimidated. And I didn't mind that, but what made it worse, she couldn't even extend the courtesy of removing a picture for me. She made me go and remove my own picture. But so she really took her job seriously, and she did a remarkable job. She followed the rules as is, and I want to commend her for a job well done, and I wanted the council to commend her for a job well done. And here we can. I finally met a person who can run that department better than me. Good for her. She's going to remain, typically the charter states that I'm supposed to be the supervisor of election, but because while I was campaigning, I did in fact endorse Dr. Smith-Joseph, and so for that reason, she's going to remain the supervisor of election, and I'm not going to intervene. I'm obviously moving forward. I won't be campaigning for any particular candidate at this point, but I did already in fact endorse Dr. Smith, so she's going to continue doing her job as is. And last but not least, I want to just read off the list of qualified candidates. A second, I can get the screen to click over. And the qualified candidates for the mayoral race, we will have Dr. Smith-Joseph. His challenger is Jean Marcellus. Council 4 district race, we have roughly 5 candidates: Jessica Alston, Alex Desume, Beverly Hilton, Carlene Marie Paul, and Rosaline J. Phillip. Again, elections will be held May 12th, 2015. And last but not least, just to answer some constituent questions.
Say anything about District 1?
Oh, I'm sorry.
There was nobody qualified for District 1, so you stuck with me.
No, I was going to do that at the end. It's emotional. But before, a couple of people came and asked me questions about the notices. Yes, it's true. The charter gives me the right to send out the notices of the council meeting. However, our official paper that we use is the Daily Business Review. But last budget, Carol Keys requested that $25,000 to $30,000 be placed in the manager's account so that she can have discretions to publish also in the Herald. Because it is our duty, the charter gives me that right. The council can't change it. The manager can't change it. Only the voters. Aleem did come and speak to me, and so what we're doing, I think that for the past couple of at least a year or so, the Herald have become, I think, a much mainstream paper, and Aleem and I are coordinating publishing in both the Herald and the Daily Business Review. So for those who are concerned that the manager's office with Carol was trying to usurp a chartered right from the clerk's office, he did come and speak to me about it, and we both agreed that it would be in the better interest of the city if we work in unison to publish in both papers. We have a very good working relationship, and Aleem is just a stand-up guy. And last but not least, the guy who was my coach growing up. I lived here in the city of North Miami all my life. I'm a product of the Parks and Recs department that's ran by our great director, Derek Coker, remarkable director. And Scott Garvin was my coach, and needless to say, I didn't have to publish the District 1 elections because he ran unopposed, and it's well-deserved. And so Scott Garvin will not be having an election this coming May 12th because he is unopposed. And I wanted to publicly congratulate you for that, brother, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, Mike.
You got it. And for those who cared, I'm also unopposed as well, so I'm just kind of cruising.
Another 4 years.
I'm there for another 4 years. And real brief, I wanted to acknowledge Chief Burgess and Mayor Page. They really saved the day a couple of days ago. We had some incidents, some people camping into the clerk's office, and I had to get a little bit.
Oh, Michael.
I'm not gonna say more,
Okay.
but I wanted to acknowledge the job well done from Lenny Burgess and Major Page. I've been a criminal defense attorney for over 7 to 8 years, and these officers in the city of North Miami, I have to tell you, they're some of the best officers in terms of dealing with people, dealing with problems. They are remarkable officers, and that was the purpose. The purpose is to acknowledge the job well done by these officers, and I want to commend Aleem for doing whatever you're doing with that department, but they're doing a remarkable job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Attorney?
Yes, briefly, I sent you all an email earlier that the Supreme Court this week has declined to accept jurisdiction of the Aram opinion. So if you recall, the 4th District Court of Appeal, which governs Broward County and West Palm Beach County, had the case of Hollywood where someone complained about a red light ticket, and the court in the 4th District Court of Appeal dismissed the case, saying that essentially, city, you cannot outsource certain types of work to a vendor, that you should really be the eyes and oversee the entire process and not outsource that to a vendor that's not a police officer or public officer. And so Hollywood says, okay, well, we're going to go appeal it to the Supreme Court. And they appealed it, seeking for jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, no, I'm not going to review this case. So the 4th District Court of Appeal opinion stands currently. What does that mean for us? It means that the city has begun, since the Aram case, begun to engage in the process of revamping and tweaking our process to ensure that either we take all of the pictures that are captured and make our own determination, or have some sort of quasi process where some of it is done in-house. I'm not exactly sure what the police department is ultimately going to do, but we are making sure that we're tracking the language of the case so that our job is, the job that's done is internal versus external.
Thank you. Mr. Manager?
Just two quick things. At the last council meeting was requested, a reason for the delay in the utility bills. If you look in your binders, there is a report from the finance department on that, explaining some of the delays. Secondly, I had 2 meetings with the Auditor General's office, and I was contacted today. The audit from the state begins on May 1st. I will have to allocate an area where they will have their private access to emails and computer access, and that is being organized. May 12th, as the clerk just reiterated, is the elections. There's no council meeting on that day. And on the second meeting in May would be on May 26th, which is the day right after Memorial Day weekend. One other thing, we have one of our police officers, Jonathan Aleda, from our North Miami Police Department, to be honored at the Law Enforcement Award Gala held by the Police Benevolent Society in Doral on May 16th. If there's any request for any one of the members of the council attending in honor of one of our officers, please let me know or let my staff know. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Meeting is adjourned. Till next time.